As soon as my husband, Andre, left for what seemed like a routine business trip, my 7-year-old daughter Sophia uttered words that froze my blood. "Mom, we can't stay home today," she whispered, her eyes wide. "I heard Dad talking. He was plotting something very bad for us." And get this, I had just transferred 200,000 reals to his account, my mother's inheritance, an investment for a business he swore would change our lives. 200,000 reals? And now my own daughter was warning me about something sinister? If you want to discover how a morning that started normally turned into the worst nightmare of my existence, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell now, because this narrative will captivate you from beginning to end. It all began on a Tuesday, October 23rd. Andre, my husband of a decade, had a business trip scheduled for Sun City. It seemed like a common event. After all, he traveled for work at least twice a month. I trusted him blindly. That morning, I woke up early to prepare his coffee. Sophia, my little one, was quiet in her room, playing, or at least that's what I believed. Andre quickly drank his coffee, left a lingering kiss on my forehead, declared his love, and left with his suitcase. 15 minutes later, as I was tidying the kitchen, Sophia appeared in the doorway. Her little face was pale, and her eyes, usually full of sparkle, were fixed and wide. I had never seen her like that. My heart raced. "Mom," she murmured, looking back as if afraid of being overheard. "We can't stay home today. I heard Dad talking on the phone this morning. He was in the office and didn't realize I was already awake." My first impulse was to smile, thinking it was childish imagination, but the seriousness in her eyes made me stop. "What did you hear, my love?" I asked, squatting down to her level. "He said that this afternoon it was going to happen, that when he was away, they were going to solve the problem. And Mom, he said your name. He said you wouldn't get in the way of his plans anymore." Tears started streaming down Sophia's face. A knot tightened in my stomach. This couldn't be real. But what if it was? With trembling hands, I grabbed my cell phone and dialed Andre. It went straight to voicemail. I called again, same result. He always answered my calls, without fail. "Sophia, come with me now," I said, grabbing my purse. There was no time for doubt. I couldn't risk it. I put her in the car and we left. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it. I drove straight to my sister Louise's house, which was about 20 minutes away. On the way, I tried to call Andre 3 more times. Nothing. I decided to call his office. The secretary, with a professional voice, informed me that he had canceled the trip last minute, but didn't know where he had gone. Canceled? But he had just left. The confusion and fear intensified. Upon arriving at Louise's house, I could barely tell the story without stuttering, but she sensed the desperation in my voice. Louisa was in shock. "You need to go back there and see what's happening," she said, her voice firm. "But not alone. I'll go with you. Sophia will stay here with the children." I agreed. We returned to my neighborhood, but stopped 2 blocks from home. We walked slowly, with heavy hearts. As we approached, my blood ran cold. A dark, completely unfamiliar pickup truck was parked right in front of my house. And the worst part, the front door was wide open. Someone was inside. Louisa gripped my arm tightly. "Call the police now," she whispered urgently. But I needed to know. I needed concrete proof. Driven by a mix of fear and the need to know the truth, we entered through the back gate, which led to the yard. The kitchen door was unlocked. I could hear male voices coming from the living room. My whole body was trembling uncontrollably, but I kept moving forward, 1 step at a time. Then I heard his voice. Andre, he was inside. "Are you sure it will work?" he asked someone. 100%, a deep, unfamiliar voice replied. "The gas will leak from the heater. It will look like a perfect accident." My legs almost gave out. Gas, accident. They were talking about killing me, about murdering the mother of his own daughter and staging an accident. I felt Louise's hand squeeze my shoulder. She had heard it too. "And the money?" Andre asked, his voice cold and calculating. "Have you already transferred everything to the secret offshore account?" The man replied, 200,000 are already secure. When the accident happens, you marry Patricia in 6 months and still get an additional 500,000 from the life insurance." Patricia, that name echoed in my mind, a devastating blow. Patricia was my best friend, or so I thought. We worked together, our daughters went to the same school. She had dinner at my house every week, shared laughs and secrets, and was in fact planning to steal my husband and my money, awaiting my death. Louisa urgently pulled me. "Let's go now and call the police," she hissed. But at that very instant, my foot hit a piece of glass on the kitchen floor. The sharp noise echoed through the house, which until then had been in deadly silence. "What was that noise?" I heard Andre ask. Heavy footsteps began to come towards us. Louisa and I ran desperately to the back door. We managed to get out and jump the neighbor's fence just as they saw us. My heart was pounding like a runaway drum in my chest. We ran to the car, parked 2 blocks away. I got in, locked the doors, and grabbed my cell phone. I dialed emergency. "Hello? I need urgent help. There are men in my house planning to kill me." The operator tried to calm me down and asked for the address. I provided all the information with a choked voice. She assured me that 2 patrol cars were on their way and instructed, "Stay away from the residence and wait in a safe place." We drove to a nearby gas station and waited, each second an eternity. 10 minutes later, the siren lights passed us. The police had arrived. My cell phone rang, an unknown number. I answered, my hand trembling. "Aurora?" It was Andre. His voice was different, nervous, full of false despair. "Where are you? I need to talk to you." "Where am I?" I replied, trying to keep my voice steady despite the rage consuming me. "Weren't you in Sun City? Or was that also a lie?" Silence on the other end. "Aurora, you don't understand. Let me explain, please." "Explain what, Andre?" I retorted, my voice rising. "How you were going to kill me with a gas leak? How you were going to take my money and marry Patricia? I heard everything. The police are in our house now." I heard a groan of frustration on the other end. "Listen, it was Patricia. It was her idea. I was in debt. I needed the money, but I would never really be able to do it. I love you. You have to believe me." His voice was in a panic, but I didn't fall for it. "Now you love me?" I laughed, a humorless laugh. "Men who love don't plan to murder their wives, Andre. Men who love don't steal their dead mother-in-law's inheritance. You are a monster." And I hung up on him. Immediately after, a police officer called me, asking me to return to give a statement. When we arrived, 3 police cars were parked in front of my house. Andre and another man, the accident specialist, were handcuffed. Andre saw me and tried to say something, but the police officer told him to shut up. The detective led me inside. "Madam," he began, "we found the tampered heater in the laundry room. If you had returned home this afternoon, as usual, the leak would have started. It's a miracle that your daughter overheard the conversation. Sophia, my brave little girl, had saved our lives. If she hadn't woken up early, if she hadn't caught that macabre conversation, she and I would have been dead in a matter of hours." The thought turned my stomach. "And there's more," the detective continued. "From what we've gathered, your friend Patricia is also involved. She was the one who introduced this man to your husband. He specializes in making domestic accidents look real. We are already going after her." 2 hours later, Patricia was arrested in her apartment. The police found conversations on her cell phone with Andre, detailing the macabre plan in the smallest details. They had been together for 8 months. 8 months of betrayal, while she pretended to be my confidant, my best friend. The plan was as simple as it was cruel. Andre convinced me to invest my mother's 200,000 reals inheritance in a shell company. The money was transferred directly to an offshore account. Then they would murder me, and Andre would get the 500,000 reals life insurance. With a total of 700,000 reals, Andre and Patricia planned to start a new life in Portugal. They had even bought tickets for 3 months later. Everything coldly calculated, and I, naive, suspected absolutely nothing. In the following days, the story exploded in the city newspapers. Husband and lover plot wife's death for inheritance. It was humiliating to have my life exposed that way, but also, in a strange way, liberating. People needed to know who Andre and Patricia really were. My family offered me unconditional support. My father hired the best lawyers. We managed to prove the fraud and recover the 200,000 reals before Andre could move the money.
The account was blocked in time. The trial happened 4 months later. Andre and Patricia were convicted. He received a 12-year sentence for attempted aggravated murder and fraud. She got 10 years as an accomplice. The accident specialist, named Breno, got 15 years. During the trial, Andre tried to meet my gaze several times. I didn't look away once. I wanted him to see that I was stronger than he ever imagined, that he hadn't managed to destroy me. Patricia cried, apologized, claiming she was in love and had committed follies. The judge was clear. Passion does not justify planning a murder, and she had betrayed a friend's trust in the worst possible way. After the trial, my focus shifted to rebuilding my life and taking care of Sophia. She was shaken by the whole situation, but the psychologist assured me she would be fine, praising her courage and the fact that she had saved our family. I sold the house. I couldn't sleep there anymore, knowing what had happened. I bought a smaller, cozier apartment in a new neighborhood, a true new beginning for me and my daughter. With the recovered money, I decided to invest in my own business, a children's clothing store, an old dream I had postponed. Sophia helps me choose the models and loves spending afternoons with me at the store after school. 6 months after all these events, I was at the store when a woman entered. She introduced herself as Anna, Breno's sister, the specialist Andre had hired. My body tensed immediately. What did she want? I just came to apologize, she said, with tears in her eyes. My brother has always been problematic, but I never imagined he would go this far. When I found out what he did to you and your daughter, I cut ties with him. She continued, her voice choked. I read about your case in the newspaper, about how your daughter saved you, and I came here personally to say I'm so sorry. I know it doesn't change anything, but I needed you to know. She placed an envelope in my hands and left. I opened the envelope with trembling hands. Inside, I found a handwritten letter and several documents. The letter revealed that her brother had confessed to other similar crimes he had committed, and the documents were evidence that could help other victims. I took everything to the police. Anna's evidence was crucial and helped reopen 3 cases of deaths that had been classified as domestic accidents. 3 women had been murdered, and no one knew the truth. Thanks to Anna's courage, the truth came to light, bringing justice to these families. Today, a year after everything, I can say that I am well. Sophia is happy with excellent grades at school. My store is prospering. I've made new friends, people who have proven to deserve my trust. I still have nightmares sometimes. I dream I'm at home and the gas starts to leak. I wake up in a cold sweat. But therapy has been a cornerstone. I learned that traumas take time to heal, but that it is, indeed, possible to move forward and rebuild. Andre sent me a letter from prison last month. I didn't open it. I have no interest in anything he has to say. He made his choices and is now paying for them. I also made my choices. I chose to live. Sophia sometimes asks about her father. I tell her the truth in an age-appropriate way, that Daddy made bad choices and hurt people, and that sometimes adults make big mistakes and need to be held accountable. She is incredibly mature for her age. She has already told me she wants to be a police officer when she grows up, to help other children, just as she helped us. My heart fills with pride every time she says that. This journey taught me many things, that trust is a precious treasure and can be shattered in seconds, that sometimes the people we love most are capable of the worst betrayals. But it also taught me that I am stronger than I imagined. It taught me that my daughter is my greatest blessing and my savior, that real family is who stays by your side in the darkest moments, and that new beginnings are possible, even when everything seems lost. Today, when I look back, I see how much I've grown. The Aurora of a year ago was naive, too trusting, ignored the signs. Today's Aurora is cautious, but not bitter. She is strong, but not closed off to love. In fact, there's someone new in my life. I met Fernando at the gym. He is divorced and has a daughter Sophia's age. We are taking it slow, no rush. But he is kind, honest, and respects my healing time. Sophia likes him, and that means a lot to me. She has a sixth sense for people, always has. It was that instinct that saved us from that terrible situation. So, if she approves of Fernando, it's a good sign.
Sometimes I still find myself thinking about what would have happened if Sophia hadn't woken up early that morning, if she hadn't overheard the conversation, if I hadn't believed her and left the house. She and I would be dead. Andre would be free, rich, and happy with Patricia, and no one would ever know the truth. It would just be another domestic tragedy, another